Okay, guys, second part of the homework. So, what we need to do is solve for x and y in these problems, whatever the missing variable is. And so, I like to break them up into littler triangles, small, medium, and large, but you don't always have to. You can look at it because you have a similar triangle in the little one, the medium one, and the big one. So if I just take a little time and I look at this, I can see that its short leg is to hypotenuse on the small one. Well, look at the big triangle. Short leg is to hypotenuse. So I could say 1 is to x, short is to hypotenuse, as short x is to hypotenuse, 10. So x squared equals 10, x equals square root of 10. Okay, and you should put these answers in simplest radical form, unless otherwise told to round to the nearest decimal. So x is the square root of 10. So now I can use Pythagorean theorem, okay, to solve for y. And y is a leg. Since y is a leg, remember as a refresher, when we're looking for a leg, then all we do is we take the square root of the hypotenuse squared minus the other leg squared, okay? So, now, let's keep moving. That means y, which is the leg, is equal to the hypotenuse, 10 squared, minus the leg squared. So y is equal to the square root of 100 minus 10. Y is equal to the square root of 90, which is going to be 3 root 10. How did I do that so fast? 9 times 10 is 90. 9 is a perfect square. Square root of 9 is 3. So what I want you to see is you don't always have to draw small, medium, and large triangles. Use what you know, okay? So one of the big ideas in this unit is the geometric mean of a right triangle. If I know the altitude and I know these two pieces, then I simply say 2 is to y as y is to 6. 2 is to y as y is to 6. Geometric mean, okay? Now, if you want to look at it in similar triangle fashion, it's short leg is to long leg as short leg is to long leg, okay? So y squared equals 12. So the square root of both sides, this is 4 times 3, y equals 2 root 3. Okay? So now, for the medium triangle, we can just use, there's multiple ways. We can use the fact that this is square root of 12 and say short is to long as short is to long. We can do it that way. We can just use Pythagorean theorem. X is a leg, so x is equal to the square root of, x is not a leg. X is a hypotenuse. My mistake. Here's a right angle. That's opposite. That's hypotenuse. So it's equal to y squared, which is square root of 12 squared plus 6 squared. So x is equal to the square root of 12 plus 36. These two together are 48. And this is 16 times 3. So x is equal to 4 root 3. Because if I take the square root of those, that's what I get. Okay. Cruising. We're cruising. So we're going to use geometric mean here to find x. All we have to do is find x here. So 4 is to 10 as 10 is to x. Please try to learn that. Because we're going to have an assessment. And you're going to see it. Trust me. These kind of problems are going to be there. 4 is to 10 as 10 is to x. Or short is to long as short is to long. And I'm talking about the legs. Here's a leg, here's a leg, here's a leg, here's a leg. Short leg, long leg, short leg, long leg. 4x equal 100, x equal 25. Done. Okay? Moving along. Look, 6y, 14. 6 is to y as y is to 14. Y squared equals 84. 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 4 is 24. 60 and 24. Square root it. Square root it. By the way, square root of 84 is the same as the square root of 4 times square root of 21. We did this earlier. Remember? That's broken down into its primes, 3 and 7. So y is equal to 2 root 21. Done. So now that I have y, I can simply say x is equal to the square root of x is a hypotenuse. So it's y squared, 84. The square root of 84 times square root of 84. Y squared equal 84. See it right there before we took square root. Plus 6 squared, 36. 6 squared is 36. 84 and 36. If you don't remember, just add them up. 0, carry the 1, 120. We did that one earlier too. X is equal to the square root of 120. X is equal to 2 root 30 because this is 4 times 30. Okay, we're cruising. Almost done with this side of the page, and then we'll go do the hard ones. Okay, so now we got to find x, y, and z. Okay, the only thing that's going to be different here is we got to do 3 things. Okay, so trying to keep it so you can see it and I have enough room. 3 is to z is to 12. Look at them, always starting right there. Now, some of you are like, do I have to write this step? No, once you really understand it, you know it's going to be z squared equal 36. So what does z equal? 6. So there's a 6 right there. And you can use whatever relationships you've learned. Okay? But I'm just going to do Pythagorean theorem twice. Y equals the square root of, this is the hypotenuse, 36 plus 9. I squared 6 and I squared 3. So y is equal to the square root of that. Remember, in my geometry class, I teach you to just go right to this step. You don't have to say y squared equals z squared plus 3 squared, whatever. I'd rather you work smart, not hard. Okay, square root of 45. Well, 45 is 9 times 5, right? So y is equal to 3 root 5. Y's done. Now all I need is x. X is another leg. So, or is a leg. So it's leg is equal to hypotenuse squared, which is 15 squared, square root of 15 squared, minus y squared. What's y squared? 45. Okay. So, that gun. All right. Since I'm putting it in this way, I'll put it in this way. Since I'm putting 15 in it squared, I'll do that. Well, x is equal to square root of 225 minus 45. So 225 minus 45, 0, 18, 180. X is equal to square root of 180. 180 is going to be 9 times 20. Aha, there must be 36, huh? 36 going to 180? Let's see. It does, and I know it does, but I want to show you. Just use your calculator, guys. It's 36 times 5. So x is equal to 6 root 5. Okay? We are almost there. Now, 8 is to x. Uh-oh. This one might get a little harder, huh? We're going to have to do some thinking. So we could say 8 is to y as y is to x. So then y is equal to the square root of 8x. Huh. Does that help us? Okay. Oh, Mr. Sterling, you're not looking I'm not taking time to look before I start. Let's just start that one over. Jeez. I'm looking for y and I got 8 and 12. Y is a leg. So it's going to be 12 squared minus 8 squared. 144 minus 64. Y is equal to the square root of. Y is equal to the square root of 80. 144 minus 64 is 80, right? Yep. And 80 happens to be 5 times 16. So y is equal to 4 root 5, which also means y squared is equal to the square root of 80. Don't forget that. Is equal to 80, not square root of 80. Y squared is equal to 80. Because we're going to use that. So 8 is to y, as y is to x. But y, and so it's y squared is equal to 8x. Yeah, but y squared we just said was 80 equals 8x. So x equal 10. So this is 10. And this is square root of 80. So z is equal to square root of y squared plus x squared. Z is equal to the square root of 80 plus 100. Z is equal to square root of 180. Okay. And the square root of 180 is 36 times 5. Didn't we do that already? Yes. 36 times 5. 150, yeah. So z is equal to 6 root 5. Okay. Very good. We cruised right through that using geometric means, didn't we? So let's go on to the next piece. Okay. So I've already worked this one, and I'm trying to keep this video a little shorter this time. So 32 on this worksheet is the same as 33. These guys are tough. Okay. So for this one, I broke it into 3 triangles. You do not have to. You can remember, you can go short leg is to hypotenuse, as short leg is to hypotenuse, as short leg is to hypotenuse. You can find your own relationships. But with these, I put some numbers down. Now, L sub 2, okay? So what were we given? We were given that this is 6, okay? And we were given that this is 9. Well, you give me 6 and 9, I'm going to go find L sub 2 first. And that's what I did right here. L sub 2 is equal to the square root of 6 squared plus 9 squared, 117, which is 9 times 13, which is 3 root 13. There's our first answer. Okay? So this is the square root of 117 or 3 root 13. Okay? Now, I have 6, I have 9, and I don't have h sub 1. So I can say h sub 1 is to 6 as 6 is to 9. And I can solve this. 9 times h sub 1 is equal to 36. And I get x equal 4. Okay? So that one works fine. Now we're on our way. Once we're there, once we get going, we're okay. All right? So I just found h sub 1. And it is 4, which means this whole thing is 13. Okay? So to find L sub 1, what I did was I just used the smaller triangle, and I did 6 squared plus 4 squared, because this is a hypotenuse, and I got 2 root 13. So all that left for me to do was to find h. And I did it the long way. But I could have just said 9 plus 4 is 13. Sometimes I crack myself up. Okay, now that one wasn't so bad. I labeled my picture and I just started thinking, Okay, first, second, third, and fourth. This last one is tough, man. It stumped me for a while. Okay. And I had to try multiple ways, and I finally came up with a way to hopefully explain this fairly well. Okay. So all they told us was L sub 1 is 6 rad 3, which is square root of 108, and they gave me H sub 2. Okay. So here's what I started with. I said let H sub 1 equal X, because I didn't want to use subscripts. I want to just use variables. And so doing that, I can show you that I can do short leg is to hypotenuse as hypotenuse is to, short leg is to hypotenuse, right? As short leg is to hypotenuse. Well, if we do that, that becomes X is to the square root of 108. Short leg is to hypotenuse as short leg of the big triangle is to hypotenuse, X plus 3. This is the key to the whole problem. The real key to the whole problem is, I think, using X instead of H sub 1. But using this relationship, and I had to look for a while to catch it. Short leg is to hypotenuse, X is to square root of 108. As short leg, square root of 108, is to hypotenuse, X plus 3. Now, when we cross multiply, we get X times X plus 3 is equal to 108. If I distribute, I get X squared plus 3X. I'm going to bring the 108, no I'm not, is equal to 108. The first thing I did was I brought the 108 over and tried to factor. It didn't factor. I could have used Pythagorean theorem, quadratic formula, but instead I completed the square. From algebra 1, X squared, here's what we're going to do. We're going to complete the square and solve for X. X squared plus 3X plus I don't know equals 108 plus I don't know. Well, when I teach completing the square, we take half of B, which is 3 halves, and we square it, which is 9/4, and you add 9/4 here. What we did was we added 9/4 to both sides. What we created was a perfect square. It's a perfect square vertex form quadratic. Okay, this is a perfect square. 108 plus 9/4 in fraction form is this. Now what we do is we solve by taking the square root of both sides. That gives me X plus 3 halves. And this comes out nice and clean to 21/4 because square root of 441 is 21. And the square root of 4 is 2. 21 halves. I know I said that, but I didn't write that. Then when I subtract 3 halves and subtract 3 halves, I get X equals 18 halves, X equal 9. And we're there. We're getting there. H sub 1 is 9. Okay? Now, I completed the square. You could have used quadratic formula. X is equal to minus b. Remember all this? Plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This would have given me the same answer. Okay? It doesn't factor cleanly. Okay, so now I have more to find. Okay, and I now know that this is 9. Okay, x equal 9. Well, do I now know h? Yeah, 9 plus 3 is 12. So I got h. And now I need a. Well, if I want to find a, I can say 9 is to a. 9 is to a as a is to 3. So a squared equals 27. A equals the square root of both sides. So square root of 9 times square root of 3 is 27. So 3, bad 3, ugly 3 anyway, 3 root 3. All right, we are on our way. 3 root 3. So now we know this is 3 root 3, or the square root of 27. How are you going to find L sub 2? L sub 2 is a hypotenuse, so it's equal to the square root of 3 squared plus square root of 27 squared, right? 9 and 27, so L sub 2, this is 9 plus 27, oh, square root of 36. L sub 2 equals 6, yep, L sub 2 equals 6. Oh, I was kind of covered up there. I hope you could follow my words. So what did I do? I let h sub 1 equal x because I wanted to work with just a variable x. That's just called substitution. I said what I used was short leg of the little triangle is to its hypotenuse. Short leg is to its hypotenuse. As the short leg of the big triangle is to its hypotenuse. And the hypotenuse of the big leg becomes x plus 3. I cross multiplied. I got a quadratic. I solved the quadratic and got x equal 9. Nice clean number. So x is really h sub 1. This is h sub 1. So h sub 1 equal 9 right here. Then I used geometric mean. I said 9 is to I don't know as I don't know is to 3. This is really important that you learn this, okay? A squared is equal to 27, 3 root 3. And then I just used Pythagorean theorem. So look at all of the algebra we're using. And that is it. That was the homework assignment. And I didn't do, there was another problem that I had assigned. No, I didn't do here. You do it the same way. I would like you to try it. If you can't get it and you want me to show it to you, I'll make a video of just that problem. We're done. Talk to you later.